This conference will now be recorded. This con-
Good morning, everyone. So this yesterday's issue, I have already reported to the Google team, like CNCF team, because there will be a channel, like IRC channel for each and every issues which you want to report. Okay. So the IST channel is like Slack, Kubernetes, let's say like Slack.
So then one more question.
Yeah.
Yeah, in real time, which one you are going to use is the DS or replication in
I
most
will
of the
tell you.
cases?
Yeah, I will tell you.
Okay.
So let us say you want to use a monitoring tool. Okay. For example, let us say you know ELK.
No.
No. Okay. Nagios.
Yeah, no, again.
Okay. You know Nagios, right? So for Nagios, do you know what the packages that are required? One is like on server, you need to install the main package, Nagios server package. Okay.
Okay.
To whichever server you want to monitor, there you will install NRP plugin. Am I right?
Yes.
On all the nodes, whichever servers you want to monitor, you will install the NRP plugin so that the NRP plugin will collect the logs and it will collect the metrics and it will give it to your Nagios server. That is how it works. Okay, with certain interval. Now, now let us say if you use Kubernetes, using Kubernetes, how will you deploy this particular NRP plugin? Because this NRP plugin should be running on all the slave nodes because you need to
Yeah.
monitor the slave nodes as well as the master node also. Okay.
Yes.
And not only that, when a new node is added to the cluster, ante like when you're adding a new node, let us say today my slave nodes are not sufficient in Kubernetes cluster. So I
Okay.
took one more server and I added my that particular server to my Kubernetes cluster as a slave. Okay, when you add a new server to your Kubernetes cluster, this pod, this NRP plugin pod should also be running on the that particular new node. You should not take care. So Kubernetes automatically it will create a pod on that particular node. So it will ensure that on all the nodes we have an pod running with NRP plugin. Okay, so in that scenario, you need to go for daemon
DS.
set. So coming to replication set, let us say example, you have four slave nodes and Kubernetes master. Okay, so now from master, you are trying to create a replication set or replication controller, whatever it is. Okay, the concept is same. Okay, there is not much in difference except the labels which we use in the template. So now, let us say if you are using replication set, okay, you cannot guarantee that this particular pod, let us say I'm trying to launch a pod called three pods, replica of three. So I have four slave nodes. Can you guarantee that it will launch this particular three pods on individual node? We cannot guarantee that,
No.
right?
No.
It might launch all the three pods on the single node itself. Okay, if that particular single node is down, immediately it will create a new pods on different nodes. Okay, and that also we cannot guarantee that it will launch all the three pods on the second node. It can launch one pod on one node and two pods on second node. Okay,
Second.
so if you are not bothered about running the pod on a specific nodes on all the nodes, then you can go for replication controller. Okay, if you are bothered about running the pod on every node with one pod running on every node, and automatically a pod should be created when a new node is added, in that scenario, you need to go for daemon set.
DS. it's a better go for DS. That is good, right?
But for everything, you cannot go for demon set, right?
Yeah.
Based on the situation. I see. If it is really required, you need to go for demon set. The problem with this is nothing but unnecessarily, though it is not required, you are running a pod on the nodes.
Okay.
If it is really not required, let us say I want only three pods, availability of three pods. It's, let us say, Apache web server. If one pod is down, it will immediately creates it. You can serve the data from the rest of the two pods. Okay.
Yes, got it.
Okay. So in that scenario, you need to go for it. So this is called the Slack, kubernetes.slack.com messages. Here you can post your messages when you're facing some issues. Okay. So this is like channels. It will, you can see the channels. Okay, channels in the sense to whom you can contact. Okay. So this is you. Okay. If you want to send a message to that particular person or a channel, it will show you the person name or the channel name here. Okay. So this is how we create. So from here we can post the error messages which you have, so that they will try to tell you like whether we are following the correct procedure or not. Okay. So this is how we used to work. Okay. Kubernetes.slack.com. You can go and you can register and you can post your error messages if you have. Okay. So like the professional way of working. Okay. Since it is an open source, right? So we need to get a solution whether we are following correct or not. If you have a license key, if it is a licensed one, we would have purchased the license key and we used to get a support, 24 by 7 support. Okay. But it is not a licensed one, right? It is an open source. So there will be some people who are dedicatedly working for Kubernetes development. So we need to contact that particular channels and then we can post our message. So when they get time, they will reply to your message. Okay. So this is how we need to work on Kubernetes. Okay. So today, so this all YAML files I'll be pushing into Git, okay, GitHub or Bitbucket. So let me show you so that I can save there. So I created my uh, Bitbucket repository from my Gmail account itself. So I have so many repositories which are created, Kibana, like Test Ansible, okay, DevOps, GitHub. So just I have created OpenStack multi-dist setup. So I've created few repositories, okay. So so now I need to create a new repository. So plus, okay, repository. Do you want to create or team you want to create, a project you want to create, or snippet you want to create? So I want to create a repository. So click on repository, give a name saying like yeah, files. Okay. Yes, that's tutorial for beginners. No. Showing control like we need to use Git. Advanced option I don't want to create. So um, I just want to make it public. So for all folks. Okay. Mm. So I have 1 GB remaining. So I will write short description saying that uh, save settings. So now I need to upload this particular YAML files to this particular repository. Okay, so take this particular link. So okay, apt -get install git. So git need to be installed package. I'm telling you like how to store your data into repositories. Okay, so like git is already installed with the latest version. So here I have all the important data. I'll remove that go. Okay, everything is like important. Okay, now here I need to create a git repository. So git init. So it is created. So now if you see git status, now all these files are tracked. Tracked in the sense there are new files which need to be added to the repository. So git add dot. So all these new files will be added to the, you can see now it is added to the staging area. Okay. So let's the problem is again in this few files are not required. Okay, I forgot and gave that particular files also. So that will create a problem for me. Cache it. Hyphen cache it star. So I remove dot git. Okay, dot cube. I need to remove dot bash rc. Okay, and I need to remove dot ssh directory because these are not unnecessary for a normal person, right? Profile, profiles. Bash history, and I need to remove cache it. Cache or cache it, cache it. Okay. Anything else apart from cube? Profile sh VM info wget ist. Info. So now see git status. Few files are added and few files are not added. Okay, which are not required. I have removed it. So now, so these files are important. I can't see any dot git dot files. Okay, so that's fine for me. So now git um, commit yum scenario. YAML files. Okay, and then enter. So I need to set my name, email address, and names. Okay, and then I need to. So before committing something, I just want to give my username and email address. So then only it will accept. Now you can do the commit. So now you can see git status, nothing to update. Okay, everything is tracked. So these files you can ignore because we are not adding it. Okay. So now what I need to do, I need to push to my this particular repository. So what I need to do is like first I need to add a repo, remote add, add origin and this particular URL. Okay. So now git push origin master password. Oh, okay. Okay. Now if you refresh this browser, you can see the all the YAML files which are uploaded here. See, these are like all the YAML files which are uploaded. Okay. So this link I can give it to you guys so you can download. Okay, you can here you can see clone or you can use add files. Sorry, not add files. You can download from here itself. Let me do one thing. I'll show you. So here we can see downloads. Okay, from there you can download the actual data. So I will give you this link. You can access this link and tell me whether you are able to see the details or not, so that I can change the permissions. Are you able to see the data? Just click on download and see whether you are able to download or not. Hello. Are you able to access, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So now let's go to the new topic. So this I have done it. So everything is uploaded to my repository. So I'm not. So no need to worry from my end. If I delete this files also, it doesn't create any problem for me. So I can download from my repository itself. So so the next level is what is jobs. Okay, so there are two concepts in Kubernetes. There is an object called job and cron job. Okay, so yesterday we have seen the daemon set. So today let us see what is job and cron job. Okay, and then after we can go further with the initiating the dashboard of Kubernetes. Okay, so I think let us see the dashboard first and then we can see jobs and cron job. So I think I have already done it. Launching the dashboard drive. My goodness, where is it? Kubernetes dashboard. So here we need to create a secret. So he is trying to create a Kubernetes secret, type location and data. And then after we are creating a service account. And then after we are creating a role and role binding. And then we are deploying the dashboard. Okay. And the dashboard service. Let me. Okay. So tomorrow you'll see, because this dashboard first I need to do it because I don't want to stuck here itself. Okay. So meanwhile, let us see the jobs and cron jobs which we have in the Kubernetes. So let us say there are situations like what is job? Okay, first let us say what is job. Job in the sense, let us say I want to create an object in Kubernetes. It should initiate the container, and once that particular task is done, it should be in completed state. It should not be in running state. It should not be running in the background. So it has to complete its task and it is done. Okay, so that is the purpose of using the job in Kubernetes. So how to create that particular job, and let us see the experiment things of that particular Kubernetes job. Okay, so Kubernetes job, and we'll see where it fits. Okay, in our real-time experience. So Kubernetes jobs in this and the like DevOps engineer. See like Kubernetes new race software solution private limited. New race software private limited. Secunderabad, Hyderabad. It's okay. Not this. Hmm. Concepts. So let us see the jobs. So you can see this example. So they are trying to tell you the same thing in the theoretical part. So job creates one or more pods and ensure that the specific number of them successfully terminate. So once that particular task is done, those pods will be terminated. Terminate in the sense it is not deleted actually. It will say in completed state. Okay. So the task is completed. So when you execute this command, right? Where is something? Yeah. TTL get pods. So now it is showing you in the running state, right? But there it will show you in the complete state. Completed state in the sense your task, that particular task is done. So we need to give like kubectl get jobs. As of now, we don't have any jobs in our namespace. So we don't have any jobs in all the namespaces. So now let's create and see how this namespace works. Okay. So that is how we need to create. So let's try to create the namespace in the namespace. Okay. So what will happen? So what is the main purpose of this pod? Okay, delete a job will clean up the pod it created. Okay. So let us say you have created a job in the sense it is nothing but a pod. Okay. So when you create a job, automatically it will create a container. It will do the task whatever it is mentioned, and once it is done, it will say you that the status is completed. Okay, it will be not running in the background. You cannot log into that particular job. You cannot pod. You cannot log into that particular pod. Okay, because it is completed its task. Okay, so you if you want to delete the pod, you can delete the job itself. So automatically it will delete that particular pod. Okay, so now what is the purpose of this is nothing but, so let us say if your server is rebooted, so what will happen? The job will be recreated. So it will reinitiate that particular job. Okay, what are the task is mentioned? If you reboot your server due to like node failure or anything like rebooting the server due to kernel upgrade and all, so automatically the job will be rerun for the next reboot. Once it is your server is rebooted, your Kubernetes cluster is up, okay, then the job will be reinitiated. It will rerun once again and it will stop. Okay, in running state it will not run for the second time unless there is an issue. Okay, hardware issue or something else, node reboot. Only when you have some node reboot or something, then only your job will be rerun. Okay, so till then it will be run for one time. Okay, so let us say here he has written some example. So he is trying to run some command. Okay, and we'll see whether it will complete or not. So restart policy is never. Okay, so the restart policy is set to never. What is restart policy and all? So we have three values, right? Always, on failure, and never. So these are the three policies we have for the restart. So let's take this particular value. Okay, so let's create job. Okay, so the API version is batch/v1, and the job kind is nothing but job we are trying to create. He has never given the name called PI for the job, and these are the template that we need to follow for our container. Okay, so he's executing some command. Okay, so let's back off limit in the sense it will try for 4 times, maximum 4 times. After that, it will show as a failure if your pod is not able to get created. Okay, due to some issues. That is back off. So kubectl apply -ef job. Okay, so now your job is created. How will you verify it? Kubectl get jobs. Okay, you can see there is a job, but still it is not successful in the sense it is not yet completed. Let us see whether pod is created or not. So the pod is under creation. You can see PI. After that, the ID is unique for each and every pod. Let's wait for a few minutes and we'll see. So here the The experiment says the same thing. Okay. Anyway, we'll try to see. Still under creation. It is still under creation process. Okay. Now let us see kubectl. Oh, it's waiting to start. Still, it is waiting to start. Okay. Bad request. So until it is not started, you cannot see the logs. So that is what the output says. Bad request. So what is the other method? We need to see the details like kubectl describe a pod and the pod name pi-nnk2 pulling image pearl. So it is trying to pull because this is the first image we are trying to pull. This is the first time we are trying to pull the image called pearl. Okay, let's wait and see. It is almost started. Let's see the logs here. So this is the logs. It has run the command. It is the command which we have run, right? So the pi command. Okay, so it printed a value. Okay, so now it is successfully created. In order to verify, you can see it is completed. It will not show you as a running state in the sense you cannot log into that. See, so though you have the IP address, you cannot log into that. So this particular task is done. So here it will show you only like 0/1. Okay, so this is how we need to create a job. Okay, if you reboot the node, if you reboot your entire cluster, maybe tomorrow we can see like whether it is restarted automatically and completed the job or not. Okay, so that we can see tomorrow. So this is how we need to create a jobs in real time. Also sometimes there will be a situation where you need to create one particular pod in such a way that the task is like to initiate something. Once that particular task is done, it should be in completed state. Okay, when it should re-execute once again only when you have a node failure or when it is your node has been rebooted, then only this particular job will be restarted. Okay, so reinitiated. So that then and the only thing which we need to remember is like your job will be reinitiated only when there is a node failure or a node reboot. Until unless there is no issue with your node, it will not restart or reinitiate your job. Okay, if you want to, let us say I want to rerun this particular pod, this particular command which is mentioned in the pod instance, it is container. Okay, which is mentioned. So I just want to rerun that particular command every day at midnight, 2 o'clock or something. Okay, somewhere, some time around. Okay, for that we need to use a concept called cron job. So a job in the sense it has completed its task and it is completed. Okay, cron job in the sense it will rerun that particular command or container. It will reinitiate the container every time, whatever the time you have mentioned in the cron. Okay, so you know the cron jobs in normal MySQL, right? Sorry, in normal Linux operating system, right? Like cron tab -L. So here we will create a cron jobs. If cron jobs are available, it will show you in the list. Okay, so the cron job is nothing but setting a job for for a time period. Okay, repeating the job for specific time period. Okay, like putting an alarm. Let us say you are setting an alarm in your mobile. Okay, so you'll say like every day you need to run that particular alarm at 7 o'clock to wake up. Okay, so automatically that particular alarm will be running at 7 o'clock, exactly 7 a.m. whatever the time you have set, and it will ring the alarm for you. Okay, so today you will disconnect that alarm, and tomorrow morning also at the same time it will run your alarm. So similar to that, we need certain jobs which need to be running at a regular intervals on a daily basis or some monthly basis or weekly basis or yearly basis. Depends upon the requirement. So in that case, Kubernetes has provided a functionality called cron job. Okay. So let us see that cron job and what are the parameters we need to pass. Okay. So here, cron job. Cron job creates jobs on a time-based schedule. Okay, what are the time you will mention? In that particular time, it will be scheduled. Somewhere we have written. Okay. So here you can see. So what is the meaning of this? So there will be totally 5 entries, 5 columns. What is the meaning of each and every column? Can someone come up and tell what is this?
Okay, so the first one minute, hour, date, month, week.
Yeah. So
First one
now
is
what
every
is the,
minute.
so how it will run? This one?
First every minute job will run.
So every minute, every month, every day. So to be simple, every minute it will run your cron job. Every minute. Okay. So let us see that. What is the task it will run? It will run a command called hello from Kubernetes cluster. That's it. When it will restart only on failure. Okay. So let's copy this cron job. Instead of minute, we'll give 2 minutes at least. Okay. 2 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever it is. So that kubectl get cron jobs. You can see the cron job here. Okay. So it is still not active. So let us wait. What is not showing you here? So it will run at 5 minutes, right? It will not run now. So for every 5 minutes from the creation. Okay. So let's wait for it. You can see the age. So from this, it is only 37 seconds right now. So let's wait. Oh my God, I need to wait for rest of 4 minutes. It's okay. Let's wait. So this is my IP address which I have created earlier. Okay. Let me create a dashboard first. So here I'm downloading and it is creating some particular things. So it is giving this forbidden error, right? So for that, I have one particular command. Create dashboard, create cluster, binding. So dashboard is created. So here we need to give a token, or we can use the config file. Okay, so token in the sense, let me give the token. Where is the service account which I have created? Roster role binding. CTA. Click. Or else I can give config. Okay, for that way I need to have permissions. Okay, so what I will do is like get species. Sorry. Maybe we can skip and give. Okay. So here you can see. So how many jobs I have created till now? So these are the pods which are running. Okay. So I've given the anonymous access. I have logged in as anonymous. Okay, that is okay. So in order to show the dashboard, so you can see the cron job which we have created right now. Okay, so these are the jobs like 100%. Okay, succeeded like 3 pods which we have created, the percentage, demon set, and the cron job. Okay, so this is the cron job which we are using, and this is the demon set which we have created, and these are the jobs which are running in the background. Okay, and there is a pods. Okay, these are the total number of pods which are running right now. Service, config map, secrets, which we have created. So all these are running in our project. So these are the total number of namespaces which we have in Kubernetes. And these are the total number of nodes which we have. So this one you can see it is unknown, the ready state. So that's the reason we are not able to launch the pods on this particular node. And these are the labels of the nodes. This label we have set, right? This label we have set. Persistence volume, we don't have any persistence volume right now. So these are the roles which roles and all I will tell you later. Storage class is for persistence volume. So now, as of now, this information it will show you according to your default namespace. If you want to display on all the namespaces, you can give all namespaces. Okay, now let's go to cron job. If I select pods, it will show you on all the namespaces. Okay, if you select only default namespace, you can see it will reduce. Okay, so how many days back it is created and all, it will show you here. Delete. Okay, edit YAML files and all, you can edit the YAML files here itself, and you can update in the sense immediately it will affect. Okay, so how we are doing this one, right? Let us say kubectl get pods. Okay, if I say kubectl, what I can tell, yeah, edit, okay, pod slash pi hyphen nnkc2. I can edit from here, right? So similar to that, it is showing you there. Okay, so no changes made. Okay, so here you can see the cron job which it is created, hello and all. So two have been created because we have crossed more than 10 minutes, I guess. Maybe let me share. Yeah, 12 minutes, right? So that's the reason two jobs have been created. You can see here hello and hello. So the job has been completed. Okay, so one is 3 minutes ago, in the sense it is almost 5 minutes, and one is 8 minutes ago. Okay, so this is how the cron job has been created, and this is the dashboard which we have. Okay, so ingress, we don't have any ingress as of now. Okay, services we have. Okay, config maps we have. Okay, and settings is like forbidden, we don't have an access. Okay, for that again I need to get access. So this is the total cluster we have. So create in the sense you can paste the YAML file here, and if you say upload, then automatically it will create. Okay, so let's say like so I need to copy this and paste here and then upload. So it is uploaded, and then it will start creating it. Now, where is it? It is a config map, right? Name is the Peters pod. Here it is. See, wait in the sense it is trying to create container creating. Okay, you can see it from here. It is actually pod. Okay, here you can see. So you can see the information of that particular pod, which node it is launched, what is the IP address of that particular pod, what is the status it is succeeded. Okay, and here are the environment variables of that particular container and conditions. Okay, and created by, and then event logs. Okay, everything we can capture from here only, and you can use logs, and you can see the logs of that particular dashboard. You can see the logs here, right? Logs of that this particular pod. Okay, if you want to check any other pod, then you need to select from here. Okay, and then you can see the logs of it, what happened exactly. Okay, and then execute in the sense you can directly execute the commands on that particular pod. You can see now. Okay, let's wait. Unable to upgrade containers not found. Okay, let me go to another container if you are not. Okay, Nginx. Okay. Okay, so here we can execute the commands. You can see here. Okay, I just logged into my shell of the Nginx. Okay, so I have only one container, so that's the reason here it is showing me one container. So this is the pod, and this is your container. Okay, so here you can see like ping google.com. Sorry. Okay, you can see it is communicating to the internet. Okay, so everything you can do from here itself, from the dashboard itself. No need to log into that. But here you can create a user, set as some particular limitations, whom need to access what and all. You need to set, and you need to give the permissions. That we can see at the end of the course. Okay. So as of now, this is the dashboard which we have for Kubernetes. Okay. So guys, tomorrow we will meet once again, and we'll continue with the rest of the topics. Okay. Like we have service account, and then we have um, service account and RBAC. So these are the two major topics which are left that need to be carefully done with an practical examples. Okay. So tomorrow we'll start with service account, and then after followed by RBAC. Okay. So thank you guys. Thanks a lot. So use this particular URL in order to have this particular YAML files and all. Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot.